Hey, what's up, outies and innies, and welcome to a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Apple TV series Severance. My name's Dave, and joining me because his outie has paid for him to do the tedious tasks he doesn't want to do is Innie Drew. What's up, Andrew?
I actually think that could be possible. I thought about it the other day. My Audi is having a great time, and I'm just here hustling.
Right, doing podcasts. It's like podcast. Actually, literally, we just been. It feels to you right now like you just did another podcast. You're doing another one podcast.
But what do you mean feels like? That's all there is.
For your perspective, you just do podcasts and log out and
That's
back in again. Like,
I don't see the views. I know nothing. I don't even know if people are watching these,
right.
Except for that guy. What's his name? Rodney. Some
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, that dude. I don't know about him. We don't talk about him. We don't do that here. Right. Anyway, we're here to talk episode 7, Chikai Bardo.
Chikai Bardo.
You know, I love when a show does things differently. It takes the approach differently, but it also still sticks to landing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this episode was beautifully shot. And it was like there were moments where I'm just like, okay, you're just showing off now. Like, relax.
100%. Like, yeah.
Like, there's a shot. I won't spoil. You know the shot through the wires and all that stuff. I was reading up on it. That is not a CGI shot. That is a practical shot. And I was like, why?
Okay.
I mean, it's great and I love it.
Yeah.
Why would you put yourself through that complication? Just do it as CGI. But you know what? I'm happy they did it.
Damn, it's not the Matrix. But you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
And they do a good job of using it. You can tell, and I confirm this. They do some flashbacks in this episode, and they use a film camera. It looks to give it texture.
You could very much tell.
It looked beautiful.
I like that though. I like when you can visually indicate when it's a flashback and it's not like. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just do sepia, which is fine, but also you can tell too. But this is like okay.
And they didn't have to date us, like say, 2 months earlier, 2 years earlier, or 19 or early 2000s. It doesn't have to give us a date. We understand that it's in the past. But spoiler free, overall, what did you think of this episode?
I thought this was one of the strongest of this season. For me, maybe even if just purely for the impact I think it has on the larger narrative, some of the feelings I have towards Lumen, right? Being able to see some of the specifics as to what is really going on and what has been going on in some of the lives of people, because we get a focus on just a slice, but that slice, it sheds a lot of light, right? I think looking back, it will probably be one of the I feel like most iconic episodes of the season and of the show overall, right? And I mean that considering all of the episodes last season as well, because there's so much covered. I still haven't finished dissecting even. I feel like I still need to breathe and go back again. But I'm excited. I'm excited we're here. I was gonna say already, but then this is what, episode 7?
Mm-hmm. The 3 left.
Yeah, crazy. A lot can happen. I like that it's like answered questions, but it hasn't moved me forward in knowledge as to what's going to happen next, right? It's just more like I'm now less confused, right, as to why we're here. I still have no inkling as to direction of what comes tomorrow or what kind of fail-safes Lumen has, and even the way the episodes are being shot and how last episode we had more Bert and Irving. And not spoiler to say we didn't see much or if any of them at all this episode. I feel like everything is going to come to a connection in the future. The next 3 episodes are going to be some mind-blowing intersection of it all. But all in all, I'm really happy that we at least have some understanding of how we got here and the gravity of what we're fighting for.
This show does a great job of telling us the how, but then we're still confused as to the why.
Yeah.
Right? Because just knowing the how doesn't give you everything. Right? It's the why of it all. And I think for me, to keep my spoiler-free segment short and sweet.
Spoiler-free.
This episode does a fantastic job of giving us emotional context to the characters, to certain characters. So then you, like you said, you look back on it, you understand where the characters are emotionally.
Yeah.
From previous episodes, and it informs you in such a way that you're like, huh, So, and I think through that, through giving us the emotional context, you understand that the severed and the innies and outies aren't too different.
No.
It's just two different emotional states at times,
Yeah.
right? If we get the context
It's
of
like you before and after Snickers.
exactly, exactly, exactly,
Mm.
exactly, and that's what it is. The same person, and in this case, with Mark, with Mark, innie Mark, and outie Mark, it's the difference of before and after Gemma's death, right? And we get the emotional context of things like that, of understanding that further. But let's go into full spoilers. Um, this episode, they do a great job of the flashbacks, right? It took me a while to kind of catch up to how it was working because we
Yeah.
get some flashbacks that's supposed to be from the
I was like,
perspective of
where in
Gemma.
the timing is this?
Exactly. And then, but it's like, whose flashback is this? Because there's sometimes where it's like Mark is having a flashback,
Yeah.
but there's times where Gemma's having the flashback. But it's done so well because they almost overlap and interact
Yeah.
with each other by the time it comes to the end of it all, right? And I think they do a fantastic job with that. But let's go back, start again. Um, this episode gives us focus on Gemma and the fact that we get context of how she got involved in all this and the fact that she is still alive. She's just been going through these severance experiences. It took me a while to understand what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, okay, what they because all the different scenarios she was in, I was like, oh, these are just
Highly
other
stressful.
opportunities to sell to people for why you should be severed, right? Because the main reason we see is like you don't want to go to work every day, so let your severed version go to work every day. And so we're
Yeah.
getting other
You don't
examples
want to
like,
do
oh,
the
you
you
don't
don't
want to
want
take
to
a
do the
plane,
busy work. Yeah.
right? You don't want to take a flight, let your severed
Yeah.
person take a flight. You don't want to go to
Yeah.
the dentist, let your severed person go to the
I
dentist.
I,
You don't
I
want to sign
love
the
that
Christmas
though.
cards.
Yeah.
What did you
I
think?
honestly love that as like a way of really extending this concept of being severed, right?
Hmm.
Because yeah, it
It's like the
starts with
pregnancy we
fine,
saw
do the
last season.
boring work. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what do you not want to do, but you want to reap the benefits for?
Hmm.
The severed comes for you. So I love that. I love that it's starting to kind of give some legs to the world at large and like the larger vision.
Hmm.
It's like making it's like cloning but without an external body, right? It's
Hmm.
like making an internal clone that it is you, but it does this boring things you don't want to do.
Hmm. Like signing all those Christmas cards. It's like, can I stop? You did.
See her hand.
It's
See
been
her hand
months.
is shaking.
But
Or
Christmas
like
comes
everybody
back.
hates the dentist.
Right?
She's like, oh, that one. I can't imagine just like continuously waking up at the dentist.
Every time you wake up at the dentist, wake up at the dentist,
Like,
wake up at the
no.
dentist. And what I like, again, I was trying to understand what they were doing there. And it took me a second viewing to fully understand that the whole test was to see, can your
A
outie
breaking
remember the
point.
experiences of your innie?
Mm.
Because they ask her when she comes back, do you remember how many rooms you go in? Do you remember? They ask all these questions, try and figure out, is there a bleed over?
Yeah, is there a time when okay after 400 visits to the dentist, your brain
Yeah.
is like, oh nope, nope, and that honestly, I feel like it's even worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like I thought they had her. Sure, I thought they were experiments, but I didn't think it was like perpetual kidnapping. Your brain is. It's like you might as well just put her brain in a like a test tube, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And just like shut off her motor functions because it's 10 times worse than I thought.
It's a crazy prison. Then you can't, you try and escape, you can't because your consciousness can't go past a certain barrier.
No, and you can't even like breathe. It's not like you get like in other things, which is not like it's good. Like if you're in prison, like you get the time, you get the downtime, right? You
Hmm.
get to have the in betweens or to go through the emotions. You're in different yous are in one state continuously.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that was interesting because we've only seen one severed personality. She has multiple severed
mm-hmm,
personalities because it's not like
mm-hmm.
she's going to the same personality in different rooms. It's a different personality in each
Because that
room.
was my thought as well, right? I don't, or at least I assume that the room versions don't have knowledge of each other, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
no,
not like,
no. There's different versions. They
um,
even look differently. They wear different wigs.
yeah,
Different
and that's why
personality
she even
traits.
has the outfit, and
Hmm.
I mean, listen, that can be good for the brain. I'll just tell you
No,
that now.
no,
Like,
no. And then you even get a creepy Dr. Maurer. Let's.
it's
I don't understand because I feel like some of the things
lovely.
he's doing has nothing to do with the job.
Oh
He's
no,
just
no,
making
not
it
at all.
personal. Where do you think that's going? Because even Mr. Drummer's like, afterwards you're gonna have to get rid of her, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's like, no one's like, you like her too much, bro. What do you?
Firstly, what does get rid of her mean? Like, she has to be let go. You think something that he says along those lines. What does that mean? Does it mean death? Like, for real this time?
It has to mean that because when she mentioned being, what was that? He had some weird phrases. And she was like, "Oh, we're back to Mark," and like something, the one about siring.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, either way, he was just like, he wasn't making it seem like she was going to find her way back home.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it like that, right? So I'm not sure how, but yeah, it's not.
But here's two questions.
Were they killed her? That's weird.
Well, that's the question. So two questions for you with him, with Dr. Mauer, right? One, do you like, how deep is he in Lumen? Is he like one of the families in Egan, or is he just an employee?
Mhm.
And do you think, again, they're setting up this thing with him kind of having this kind of personal, from his point of view, connection to Gemma, even like
He's obsessed.
Mark Lefty, he's got married and he's had a kid. Like, I was like, damn, like this.
I'm like, no, he didn't.
You liar! Don't listen to him.
Like,
do you think he's gonna try and do something to kind of keep her around, or like mess up the plans that Lumen have for her, at least?
I could see that. I could see his heart leading him astray. But you asked an interesting question. I'm not sure how high up he goes. I don't think he's not a low level person, right? But he could be longer serving scientist. I don't know that he's definitely family. He might just be one of the employees with benefits that outweigh that of others. But I just felt so creeped out by him every time. Like his behavior, you could. It's weird because it literally is kidnapping, but they're trying to like downplay it a little bit. Like, at least let her use the bathroom. Jeez, I mean, come on, y'all. Like, she couldn't even take a break. No, I don't think it's gonna end well. I see him and Mark. I feel like him and Mark have to have some sort of altercation. Just because that line with him, line that Mark is married, I don't know. It felt intentionally placed. Like, you can't just get away with that.
Right. How excited did you feel? I think they did a good job of setting us up. When Gemma just knocks him across the head and she's like, "Go, go, go!" I was like, "Go, Gemma, go!" And then the realization that she can't
I love
escape.
the lights, but the
Oh my God!
lights on the
Again,
floor. I
you
love
can't
that
escape the lights. It's even the lights are following you, right?
Which
Constantly
I
following.
like that though. I like that it wasn't unrealistic. Like, the lady came, didn't find her, the nurse, and then obviously she was there and could see. I thought they were going to do the typical TV show thing of, yeah, she did manage to all of a sudden Mission Impossible escape.
Yeah.
No, like, not really, but
No.
at
Like,
the
where do you
same
think you're
one, they
going?
knew, but at the same time, okay, and that's why I liked even the structure. You see, it's all well thought out because the structure of it isn't just like one elevator from the outside to the export hall, right? It's like that elevator, then you go wind, and then export hall. So there'll have been no way for her to escape, even, right?
And then
Because
on top of that, we've seen that there's some kind of either a barrier or sensor proximity thing that can cause the severance to happen, right?
yeah,
Because you cross a line, change.
yeah. So we know that one for sure now, right? It's just no matter what, if you cross this line, it flips the switch.
Right. So security doesn't have to be that tight. Right. You just, and then the other version of you just like, oh, I guess I should go back in, because you can't communicate. Mark tried that with the whole burning into his retinas, but it doesn't quite work. And what gets interesting also, we see that the macro data refiners themselves are being refined,
Watched by
the watchers.
Matching watchers.
Looks exactly like them.
Doppelgangers.
Right. Which I think is interesting because what I understood that they're doing is they're watching macro data, is it MDA people?
Yeah.
They're watching them to make sure that nothing, like that the severance procedure is working. That's what they're paying attention to. Kind of like with Gem, because that's the thing. It's like the testing floor is underneath where they test out the different severance procedures to see what works. And then with those who have been severed that are working for them, we're watching them to make sure that they stay that way. I was like, damn, they're going levels deep. Is there watchers who watch the watchers? How far does it go?
Probably. I think they directly answered me because last week I was like, man, I feel like Lumen has 4 employees. And they're like, bro, the employees have employees watching them.
Right,
Like
right.
it's like actually double of whatever I thought they might have had. I definitely think there was more. There is more, and that's what they're like. It's, I like that it's being shown on a need to know basis, even to
Hmm.
us, right?
Hmm.
It's not just like it wasn't. They could very well, if they wanted to, they could have done episode 1. You see the behind the scenes of
Hmm.
Lumen
Hmm.
watching the Watchers, and the show would be different, but not like so different, right? But I feel like this way, it's been like, yeah, you didn't need to know. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're being watched too, because it still makes me wonder. Okay, so the Drummond was he watching Irving's house in the real world? Because he found those documents super quick. That
Hmm.
Irving was looking like that wasn't like where search. It was
Hmm.
like no, he knew where to go. So it's like basically they're watching them inside, outside. It, it's a lot. I don't know.
And
It's actually
that's a
quite a
great
lot.
segue in terms of Lumen paying attention to these people. So let's go back to that flashback, right? We get the flashback of how Mark and Gemma met, right? They're at a blood drive at the school,
Blood
a blood
drive.
drive sponsored by.
Lumen.
There you go. And they're having issues getting a baby, so they go to fertility clinic run by
Mm-hmm. Lumen.
Lumen again. And so here's my question to you: do you think, we get this, we have the assumption that, Gemma had a regular life with Mark, blah blah, they love each
Mm-hmm.
other, an accident happened, she died, Lumen got her body and did their shit. That's kind of the perception we got.
Sort of.
Now I'm thinking, one, was there a car accident? Two,
Mhm.
did they target her?
Yeah.
Here's my
No,
question to you.
no accident. She has
What do you
targeted.
think? Do you think they actually not necessarily targeted her, but do you subscribe to the theory that the whole blood drive was so they could find someone who's a perfect match? Then they realize, oh shit, she's a great match. We need to get her. What do you think of
Hundred
that theory?
percent. When I say 100, I just feel like the the coincidence is just too much.
Hmm.
I'm not a real believer in coincidences, anyways. But then it happens, and you're like, like why are they showing that? Why am I seeing the lumen teardrop there everywhere? Like,
And Dr. Mara was there at the
just
fertility clinic.
yeah, it's just like doctor who's a dentist. It's not like he's even like a normal doctor. It's like
Is he
everything
even a
here
doctor?
completely
We don't
fishy.
know.
Yeah, is he even a dentist? It took him 2 hours. What was he doing to her teeth? Her teeth look
Right.
fine to me. But anyways, that aside, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's actually an interesting one.
And what I loved about this flashback is that, like I mentioned earlier in the spoiler-free segment, Outie Mark in this instance feels like any Mark. He's so happy.
Mm-hmm.
I love their relationship. I love how they bond. I love we see kind of like, again, we knew that.
Like
I
even
think,
happier than Inimark. Like there was a glow to him.
right?
Look at his
He
hair.
he and he had a nice cool stubble, the sexy
Mm-hmm.
stubble, not the depressed stubble, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. It's funny how there's a difference, right?
you know, and even though we know the outcome of where this is going, how did you feel when the police came at the door?
I knew it. It was, she said, love you, and he didn't say love you too.
I love you.
I still didn't know. And then I think she was out, and then they showed some transition to him, and I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't let that be the day. And
Don't
then they
open the
just,
door. Don't open the door.
but then wait, there's something I still missed there because how did she get from? I feel like there's something I definitely missed. I'm sure I'm being blown. Because how, or like, why didn't she return home? Where did he know where she worked originally?
Yeah. No, she was
And
going.
then
She was going out to hang out with Rickon and
people,
his sister, and he
Sister
just
Devon,
yeah, she was leaving to go hang out with him, and he was finishing his teacher
his
stuff,
book, whatever, yeah, whatever he was working on.
And then on top of that, you have to remember that at this point, their relationship is a bit rocky be-
Fragmented and not
because
smooth.
of not being able to have a
The
baby and how
child,
that.
yeah.
And I loved kind of the montage of them being in love, and I love seeing them hanging out with Rickon and Devon and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and just like trying again with fertility
Mm-hmm.
clinic, but then you're just seeing, oh my goodness, the what's it called, the miscarriage scene, the shower. I was like, oof, painful. Like
And like
great.
he was still nice then.
And then just little moments where it's just like getting angry and just like, you know what, forget it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And or just taking
like, why do you
apart
even bother when she
right,
was
or
trying
taking
again?
apart the baby crib. I was like, oof,
that one
oof,
was sad. That one was
oh,
sad.
just so impactful. You slowly see him becoming the Mark that we see in season one.
Uh-huh.
Slowly going from this like loving her, they had great banter and great rapport. Oh my goodness, I thought it was just a great way to kind of showcase their trajectory.
Transition.
Yeah, the transition. I just thought it was brilliantly done.
That's solid acting from him,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Mm-hmm. And then we also had a thought that maybe the Gemma that Mark knows is dead. She just survives as various severed versions of herself.
Yeah,
You know.
wrong. we wrong. She alive.
So
She very alive.
where do you think that goes in her story?
I still see her. I see her as she has to escape. But that's what I find funny. Like so this Floyd that you know how you get to like you say you get to a level and clearly the severance process happens.
Mm-hmm.
But like is that like so if you were the opposite person, does it switch back? Does it make you switch to one? Is like
Mm-hmm.
these are my questions I ask because I wonder is Mark gonna go down there or is she gonna come back up again, right? Or is he gonna go down to get her up? I see I have crazy thoughts that I think would happen. Like I see him trying to escape, and then I see somehow like Dylan stopping him almost.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I feel like the Milkshake may find a way to get Dylan on board by being like, "Look, I can get you out, Dylan. I can make you be the Audi." And Dylan, like with that being the carrot dagger in front of his face, I feel like Dylan would actually do a lot. Though I love Dylan as a character, so it's gonna be interesting because it's basically gonna be Mark trying to get out his wife versus Dylan trying to go chase a wife, right? I really see that happening. But the question is, will they be successful? Because I was freaking out this episode when Devin pulled up the phone.
Oh,
They call him Miss Cobell. I was out too. It's like you
I
call that
love. Can
number,
I tell
I'm
you?
leaving.
I love
Yeah.
Regabi. She's just
She,
like, not
no,
even call her. I'm leaving. She's. I'm
no,
leaving.
no, because she gave her a split second. She was like, if you call that number, I'm going to leave. And then she saw Devin like look at the phone for too long. She's like,
Oh.
she's fucking bullshit.
Grab my shit.
It's like,
I'm
wait,
out.
are you? No. And it's not even. I like that it's not at that moment. It wasn't like, okay, you're not calling, I'll stay.
Oh
It's like
no!
you've shown me who you are. You show me that you don't know shit. You
You
don't
show me.
listen.
You show me who you are. Exactly like your brother. So annoying.
Yeah, right. All that was
He's like
funny. It
you
was
and your
also a
brother.
reminder, right? Where it's like Ravi's not here because her and Mark were like besties. Like it's not like she loved Mark and that's why she's been staying here, right? They actually have a mission they're trying to accomplish, and you're here yapping away, and then you call the lady who would literally probably the worst person to call. It's probably better
Right,
to call Helly than call
right.
Miss Cabell.
She's like, she is a soldier.
Yeah,
She has been there
like,
from day
like she would
one. She was
turn you
raised in
and
this shit.
me in. She would eat your child. Like that's the thing. I'm like, girl, did you forget this woman left your child? Whatever. It wasn't that bad, but yeah, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed her. Just that's like the LeBron meme. And it just picks up
And
his
I
bag.
think I loved it because Devin thought, you know, when you try to be like show your chest,
Forceful. Yeah.
and you're thinking the other person's gonna back down, right?
Yeah.
When Devin's just like, I know you're smarter than me, and then she's like, you do that to him, I'll throw you off a fucking bridge, right? I love that regard. He's like, oh, me? Oh,
Me.
you. I'm out. I don't
Okay.
need this.
Yeah. Oh, you thought I had to be here? You think that's my brother convulsing on the table?
Right?
Okay.
This was for me. You thought this was for
Okay.
me. Okay.
Okay.
You know, nobody wants to
Look,
listen to me. I'm sick and tired.
look,
And
bullshit.
I hope we go, and I'm pretty sure I give enough benefit down this show that we get more of Ragabi perspective because we still don't really know her motivations. Okay, yes, she doesn't like Lumen, blah 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 blah. But
Not at all.
that's too generic right now.
Yeah, I
You know,
need
and
to
I
see
think
what happened, how she got out,
like what
her
drives her.
time after.
Like, why not just get out and leave?
Yeah,
Right? Why are you
why
getting out and
spend
you?
so much energy to stick it to the man? Why not just run away to
You're smart enough to get
Vegas?
away, have a good, decent life for yourself, and just get away
Mm-hmm.
from everything. Why are you leading this charge? And are you working alone, or do you have
Mm-hmm.
people working with you?
The
You
reason
know.
I think she's working alone is just the way she's been living with Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There hasn't been any sense of like, oh, okay, let me stay here for a while, then let me try and meet up with Tango Team Alpha.
Mhm.
It's very much like, I'm here. Can I have some eggnog, please, Mark? But let's see, because also the way she's just so funny. The way she left, you're not sure. I'm like, oh, is she going somewhere specific, or is it
Yeah.
just like,
He's like,
piss off you guys? Like, I'm I can't get this lady about to call the devil over here, and I'm telling you not to call. It's like,
I love how direct she is. And she's like, we'll need some equipment from downstairs. Are you clumsy?
it's like, sorry, am I what?
What?
Yeah,
I
you
don't know.
heard
Who are
me.
you? Why do you have equipment downstairs? I thought that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, because she's so awkward. Because technically, yeah, it would have been great to be like, "Hi, you don't know me. I'm working with your brother." Nope, none of that. She's
He
just
asked
like,
for this. He asked me to do. He invited me
yeah,
here to do this.
yeah.
And he's like,
Like, you think I
uh,
planned this?
Gemma's Gemma's not alive. Yes, she's alive. No, she's not. Yes, she is. Like this kind of matter of fact. We're not arguing here. I'm telling you she's alive. Shut up. Let's move on.
Yeah,
I like that. We get interesting a conversation about Cold Harbor because
yeah.
she's given every room except
And we see
for the
the
Cold
room.
Harbor room.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, it's mentioned. Dr. Mauer says, after Cold Harbor, she will see the world again.
Mm-hmm. And
What
it's
is
like, huh?
what is that? What does that
How?
mean?
Huh.
I love
I
when
still, I think we were close in line with our guesses. Are just like
mhm.
Kira coming
I
back.
love when Mr. Drummond's like, and why are you wearing that stupid
The
sweater?
sweater. I like that he didn't say anything. He just walked out
He
after a
just
few
walks away
seconds.
like he got insulted. Like, well, you man.
And not just that, he walked away and Drummond was still dead staring him. Like you could tell he hated that sweater.
Like I know you have to wear it for when you're in the rooms, but you can't
But
take it
like,
off.
oh,
Like why are you still?
disgusting.
I wonder what I don't know if I'm thinking too much of it, but I wonder the significance because when um Gemma says to Mark, I love you. I said I love you. The same dialogue happens with Dr. Mauer,
And I'm
and
like,
her.
was that him seeing her memories and then
Yeah,
recreating it?
I'm not quite sure where that
Because
was
it
trying
feels
to.
like I've been reading some theories about how the rooms are like just being put up against very severe cases to see, like you said, how how much it takes to like stress tests. I mean,
Hmm.
summarize it, right? Really extreme stress tests.
Hmm.
But that would just tie into somehow they're able to access your memories and see what really stressed you,
Mm,
and then
mm,
use that. And it's just like honestly, wifey and I we're just here like poor Miss Casey, man. I
ugh,
feel so bad for her, more so than even like regular severed people, because
mhm.
they're just two things. This is like a lady. You're trapped in variations of
Well, I
bad
think,
Matrix trips. It's like bad trips. Which bad trip would you like?
and I think what's even worse for her compared to other severed people, right? If we're like regular severed people, it's I go to work, severed, come back, cool, move on my life, everything's fine as far as I know.
Mm.
Her outie self is very much aware that something is
That
going on
some
that's
the
bad,
things are bad. Things are bad. Yeah. Now
right?
get back to work.
And she is trapped in this, and
Yeah.
the fact that she wants to escape, I think it's so much worse that there's no facade of freedom for her,
It's not even like you don't get like a vending machine. Like like you said, the
right?
English still have this whole like water cooler
Mm-hmm.
vibes, right? Like they can
Mm-hmm.
go on excursions, whereas she's literally just like trapped. And even there where she's trapped, there was a room next to hers. I wonder who else is there. Like, are there other
Mm-hmm.
people there? I'm assuming since they've opened this up and
Mm-hmm.
the grandioseness of that room, I'm expecting that it's not just like, oh, she's the only one. Like there are probably more. That's probably part of that blood drive scene. I'm
Oof.
sure, like you said, they were testing
Yeah.
multiple people.
Here's my question to you: if you were caught in a mudslide, would you be afraid of suffocating or drowning?
Drowning.
I understand the difference. Like, I
It
feel like
sounds
it's
like wait,
very
sounds like suffocating or
like
drowning.
suffocating because of a mudslide.
Like suffocating or drowning. It's like
Because I feel
like
like the effects are probably similar in that scenario.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like little details like when Cecily, played by the great Sandra Bernard, she's usually in comedies, the woman that was kind of escorting Gemma around the rooms. She's usually
Mm-hmm.
seen in comedies, but just having that kind of look in her face. But yeah, I like the sequence where I love redundancies to security. So you have the
Mm.
handprint and then the blood.
Yeah.
Oof, the
It's just
fingernails.
like it's like double double.
Right. I like that. I liked this episode gave us some amazing visual transitions. It was like super trippy, like characters' faces spin and then morph into
Yeah,
something else.
twisting in the eye.
One of the ones I liked was from the moment of when she's crying in the shower because of the miscarriage, and the water and the transitions to Mark in the rain, and the rain's moving backwards. Did you notice the water's going backwards? I thought that was a really nice transition. Any moments that you like that we haven't talked about?
They're definitely in the bag this episode. Let's see. How many rooms today? 6. Oh, sorry. Poor Gemma. 6 rooms.
And all those rooms with also room names we've seen in different
yes.
Instances throughout the show. We saw it like on some folders labeled somewhere. We saw it on computer files. Those are all names we've seen.
Take away your pain.
I liked when in the flashback he's like, "What is this? Oh, it's ants. You said you like ants."
Ants, you like plants.
And what I think is funny is that she's saying that there's a whole bunch of plants around her in the background. She's surrounded by plants.
And then I noticed the goat on the book. They shouldn't think I missed that random goat.
I did notice the goat.
Can't wait till they answer this goat thing.
I like the essay that Mark was reading. All Quiet on the Western Blunt.
Like what's the effect of drugs on World War I or something?
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Those are all the things I wrote. Funny enough.
Look at that. He did everything. I thought this was a great episode that sets us up for what's to come. I think it's planting even more seeds. Like you said, I think you're right in terms of there's going to be an intersection of all these storylines. That's just going to like
okay, now you understand. You're all right. Like let's go.
But even then, I don't know how everything intersects in a good way. Right, I'm happy that I don't know the intersection of everything. I don't know what to expect next. You know, I do know that I noticed in the intro, because again they've told us that the intro has a lot of answers a lot of Easter eggs that we don't know about. I noticed this time off last week the intro has the little vials of textured liquid that he drinks. Yeah. It's in the intro. I was like, oh, I know what that is now. Yes.
Little baby juice.
We're going to find out what the side effects of Mark's reintegration, especially now that Vagabi's not here anymore. What happens if Vagabi's not helping? I love the Devon. She went from like, yeah, what? No, please, I need no. I'm like, no.
And I wonder because like, will Vagabi answer Mark, or is she like full on no y'all? Because that would also be a little bit harsh. I mean, you just did all that to homeboy, and then
I mean, it shows you how much.
It just shows you how much Miss Cobell, strikes.
Exactly.
Miss Cobell is literally that important. Like, you call the devil, I'm gone. What do you mean?
I'm out. She's like the worst of the worst. Again, she grew up. She drank the juice. He's a soldier for the cause.
You're right.
She's not employed. She's a soldier.
Yeah. Not even Milkshake, who might be like, he'd even weigh it up for a second. Cobell would be like, immediately pinpointing a location.
But I think that's the what makes them different, right? Milkshake is an employee. Cabell's a soldier.
Yeah, fair.
You know, I think that it's a very, very different distinction between the two.
No, that's fair.
And what they're willing to do for the cause. Employees like, this is just a job.
Yeah, like I'll do as much as I can for the job. Whereas Cobell is like, nah, this is her shrine in her house.
Right. Like this is my life. Job. I think that's all I have. I thought this was a fantastic episode that gave us some. Again, usually flashback episodes tend to be boring and water treading, but this kind of pushed certain aspects of the emotional narrative. Well. And we understand the emotions of the character. We also understand a good job of understanding what Mark, Devon, Rickon lost when Gemma died. Because
that bubbly.
Because even the dynamics together. Right, they were more fun. And stuff.
They had a fun little.
Right, we found out Rickon is a great rock climber. Wouldn't have guessed.
It threw me off, but yeah, sure.
And that kind of rapport, and it's just like and Gemma felt like the glue that held them together. You understand that. You understand why they're almost seemingly estranged. Yeah. Now that Gemma's not there, rather than being told, I was happy to see it. They did a really good job of that, and just making us understand. You know, Mark comes across as a dick, because in terms of his blah attitude, but you get it.
We see why.
We see why he had
the color was extracted from him,
right? You saw how happy he was with her. and just like ripped away from him, just like that.
And then feeling bad. I'm sure you just feel so bad for the way it ended, and he didn't say "I love you" back. It's just like, oh,
I love it. Such a great
always
story.
Tell your spouses you love them, people.
And it makes me think: was Gemma actually in a car accident? Because he mentions he saw her body. You know, because again, like we said before, we thought she died or something happened, and they grabbed whatever they could of her consciousness and held on to it. But like, I don't think there was even a car accident. I think those police officers were Lumen employees.
No, the 100%. Just because I think that's what they were trying to confirm by showing us her, so that we know there's no. If anything, Max, they did like a little like not clone, but you can do like a fake person that looked maybe enough like her.
I mean, we know they can do that.
So that would be my guess. Like, that mixed with like, if it's a dead body, you're not going to be there like.
And especially in a car accident, you can kind of damage the body
it a little bit. Just it's a little bit of spicing up. So I'm curious to see the specifics, but yeah, I definitely think those. Since Lumen has confirmed that it has a lot of power, and I still believe that this town they're in is like Stepford Wives. It's not like it's not like a regular town.
How do you simulate a plane crashing turbulence in a room? That shows how much power and like resources you have, because she walks into a room for that plane sequence. It's not like they go on a plane.
But again, look at their grounds. Like, just like whenever I remember Mark running up the stairs to get to work, and I'm just imagining all of that, like underground, just having they have like infinite space. It would be so fun. They need to make they need to use this like amusement parks.
I read somewhere that the main 7 floors, the white rooms, the hallways are made to look like, sterile offices, whereas the testing floor is still a white space, but it's made to look like a hospital. I could feel that. Even though it's white spaces, it does feel different types of white space. I thought they did a very good job of making them. You don't get confused as, is that the same space? You instantly know what space is what. All right, 3 episodes to go, Andrew. I'm interested to see where this is going. My biggest thing outside of the obvious, I want to know who Irv is working with. Irv. I want to know what's happening there. I want to know Bert, if he has been working for Lumen 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to know about that stuff.
That's small.
What do you nerdies think of this episode? What are your feelings after seeing those flashbacks? Find us on social media. You can also let us know what your assumptions and predictions are for the last 3 episodes of the season. You can also find us on email, thenerdybunchpod@gmail.com. Also, check out some of our other podcasts. We just recently recorded the most recent episode of Invincible. It's really good. We just finished the season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Highly recommended. Check out the show and then that podcast. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
This has been a Nerdy Bunch review for Severance Season 2, Episode 7. And as always, Andrew,
keep it nerdy.
Peace.